All right, welcome back to Collectibles.com Unscripted. I'm Blaine, and as with me as always is Ryan. And today we have with us Liza, who is a collector of many, many things. So, Liza, how's it going?
Good. It's actually raining here, so hopefully I don't lose you, but everything's doing pretty good thus far.
Yeah, we're all dealing with that a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Ryan has a tropical storm coming in. I just have the 800-year-old internet in Pittsburgh, so who knows how that'll do. But
Yeah.
here we are. So, for the moment, we should all be okay. So,
So, Liza, your username, Dunmore Spidey Collectibles.
Yes.
Come up with that.
So I'm surprised you actually said it right. Some people say it wrong. So I actually grew up around the Scranton, PA area, so I'm in Pennsylvania as well. But I grew up in a town called Dunmore, so I no longer live there. That's where I grew up. But I decided after seeing Spider-Man, they say, oh, everybody could be Spider-Man. And when I first got Instagram, people were going, you can't use your real name. So I went, all right, I guess I'm Dunmore Spidey. And then thus the name was created.
And collectibles, I mean, hello, like you have so many,
Yeah.
and you collect a lot of
Yes.
stuff, just like me and Blaine do. So why not, right?
Yeah, lots of different things, Funko Pops, cards, things like that.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Awesome. So, how do you collect exactly then?
So mostly, I mean, you could see there's a lot of Funko Pops and things like that, but I also collect. Recently, I've been trying to get back all of my old Pokemon toys that I no longer have. So that's been a hunt to find the 90s and early 2000s kind of things. Mostly I have Marvel, Scarlet Witch, Pokemon, Spider-Man, anime. I love Naruto, One Piece, just a lot of different variety of things.
With Spidey being in your name, is Spidey your favorite superhero then?
Yeah, he was for a long time growing up. Now Scarlet Witch is a good contender, so I have two Marvel favorites now.
I'm sure you're watching Agatha all along then, of course.
I just watched it last night. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that Funko Pop spoiler at all by
I
chance?
did. I'm not going to say anything in case anyone's watching about it, but I saw it and I was like, oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, my friend sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. We'll no spoiler warnings. All right, cool." Which is a big superhero, nowadays, and everybody's talking about her and loving her, and I think it is her time to shine, and how she's been in the movies and everything, and Elizabeth Olsen has been killing it. So I can't wait to see what else they do with the character because there is so much they can do.
Yeah, I'm excited too because the first time I saw her, I grew up in the 90s, so I saw X-Men Evolution, and she was more of like a goth kind of Scarlet Witch if you ever seen X-Men Evolution. But now I have multiple Iron Studio statues of Scarlet Witch and other kinds of versions of her, so I'm glad there's more to find of her finally.
Very cool. Very cool. I get that. All right. So, what started you as a collector then?
Probably the same thing that most 90s kids got into, Pokemon. I used to love collecting Pokemon cards. I would go out to find all 151 of them. I actually have my binder from when I was a kid,
Cool.
but it's covered in stickers because back then I didn't know, saving for quality. And I don't know if they got banned in your school, but they used to get banned in our schools. And I have my 3 starter Pokemon, but they got stuck in the washer because I hid them in my school pocket. And my mom washed them and dried them, and I still have them to this day. So that's why the quality is
It's okay.
that bad.
That's fine though. I mean, but that's a nostalgic memory. That's a core memory for you, Like,
Yeah,
Mom,
I
why'd
have.
you do that? And it's still cool that you're able to have that, So I love that, and you'll be able to show that off like you just did and pass it down if need be and go on from there. That's great. That's a cool thing.
Yeah, there's some like that I have, and then there's some that are very special. Like I have this extra protected, this holographic Lugia that I got from my mother when she came back from vacation. I remember opening it and being so enthralled with the cards.
Who's your favorite Pokemon then?
So it used to be Lugia, which is still kind of up there, but I mean, I'm a first gen still. I love Bulbasaur. I think he's adorable. I know that's not everyone's favorite. I mean, me myself, I picked Charmander as my starter as a kid. But oh god, Bulbasaur's just so adorable. I can't help but love him.
Yeah, I was gonna ask who's your favorite starter then, but or your works. No, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander have a big place in all of our hearts.
Yes,
Whether
yeah.
you love them or hate them or whatever, there's some place in all of our hearts for those three.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of predestined to have to choose Charmander. My name's Blaine, so
I
the
know.
Fire Gym leaders.
I still, like I said, I picked Charmander too.
Yeah.
That was my starter as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty common of a lot of people had it, and then Bulbasaur and Squirtle have their very staunch defenders.
Yeah.
How many collectibles do you think you have now?
Dear gosh. I mean, my Instagram page helps me keep track of it all. So I don't even know what I have posted, but I think it's almost around, like, because I know there's some pictures of me as well. It's probably almost around 500 and some things in my collection that I have of various different things.
That's cool. That's various though, and it's not just the same thing. Like me, I have like 600 to 800 Funko Pops. So
Yeah. Oh my god.
now on my collectibles account, I have like all of my stuff that isn't Funko Pops right now. I have my Legos, I have my vinyl records, I have my movie steelbooks, like all that stuff. And I'm sure you have some of that stuff too. Being the
Yeah.
fan you are of all these different fandoms and such, right?
Yes, a lot of different things. Like I said, video games I still have from when I was a child, and I'm looking for more of my Pokemon stuff that for some reason I got rid of when I was younger. And anime now has become more mainstream, so I have a lot of more options than we used to when we were younger.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, and finding the stuff from when you're younger is a lot harder with anime and stuff being that mainstream. And being a nerd,
Yeah.
like I tell Blaine all the time, like nerds are cool right now. That's the cool thing to be.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to find some of this stuff that you've been hunting for forever because it just got way worse like over the pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
All right, so to ask this one, and you don't have to get too specific about it, but what is your field of occupation that you're able to afford these collectibles?
So I'm actually a wedding photographer. I know it seems crazy with this behind me, but
That's
I
awesome.
do wedding photography, lots of other different kind of photography as well. But that's usually what pays most of the bigger bills.
Absolutely, yeah. No, wedding photography is awesome. I'm actually a wedding videographer with my wife on the side.
Oh, really?
Very on the side. We've done I think 10 or 12 weddings. But yeah, no, it pays well, especially if you know what you're doing, you've been in the business for a while and you get the clients that you can get, yeah, it pays well. So congratulations on that. That is like a freelance type thing. And
yes,
it's awesome. No, that's very cool. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. I saw you have some Star Trek stuff. Would you consider yourself a Trekkie?
So actually, a lot of the Star Trek stuff that I have is actually my husband's. So I started getting into that because of him. I never was into sci-fi. Like, even now, I don't really watch it on my own. But he is not very overly into it, but a lot of the stuff I've made or gotten is for gifts for him. And then, I like to get dressed up every now and then too, so that kind of works out.
No, I think, if you're a collector and he likes something and you don't necessarily like it, you're going to collect the stuff too, though, because it's your collection together. Like my wife collects like Disney ears,
Yes, those are big.
Years, and that's like, okay, well, we have Disney ears together, so I totally get that.
Yeah, one of the first things I actually made him, my grandfather taught me how to weld, and I made him a Star Trek ship out of a bunch of different scrap metal.
That's cool. Welding, wow, that's something a lot of people don't know about you, I'm sure. Did you get into that your grandfather helped you start that? When did that start?
So probably like you guys probably are aware too, the pandemic happened and photography took a huge decline for that amount of time. So I thought, okay, in the meantime, since I cannot work, I might as well pick up something else. Now, I don't do a job as photography, but I do a lot of just, it's more of a hobby with my grandfather, but I like that he was the only one to teach me how to weld, so I've been creating many different things. I actually made a Polaris Magneto helmet with him, was my last project.
That's cool. Did he start like welding at like a young age, or like he's been a welder for a long time?
Yeah, so he used to work at a truck stop when he was younger, and he also would fix trucks as well. So it was actually right up the street from where we lived, way before my time. But he's very good at picking up things.
Would you say you pick up things pretty quickly then?
Yeah, I mean, I have a good teacher. He's a very good teacher.
It's really cool to hear, you know, like stuff that people don't know, like about like the collector and everything. We love to figure that out through these podcasts and through these talks and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so to ask everybody that's a collector, are you in box or are you out of box?
I mean, as you can see, there are some I do have in box up top, and then there's some I do have. I have Kurama. I cannot take him out of box. I know how expensive that is, but a lot of them are mostly out of box. Mostly the Scarlet Witch, Naruto, the One Piece crew. The ones I mostly have in box for me, I have a lot of them signed. I have Daredevil, Charlie Cox, and I have the voice actress for Storm for the X-Men.
That's awesome. Do you mean this Kurama, by the way?
Yes.
Yes, I don't have the box for this one anymore. I got rid of it a long time ago. Talking about, you know, in box, out of box, storage, space, how does that work for your collection?
So, granted, there's a lot of totes down in the basement, lots of organization. I'm not sure how other collectors go about it, but with me, I like to keep, like, I have specific Naruto storage, I have specific One Piece storage, I have specific Scarlet Witch storage. So if I do need to find anything, I could just go to that one thing, open it, instead of going through a bunch of different boxes all thrown together, different varieties of things. I try to be as organized as possible.
So you store it in themes, that's cool, rather than storing it, oh hey, here's the pops, oh hey, here's the comics, oh hey, here's the stats.
Yeah.
Like you store it in themes. So that's cool, you know, that's something different that not a lot of people do, I'm sure. You know, like me, it's just like, oh yeah, I have all my, say, Funko sodas and all my Legos and stuff in boxes.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool. Talked about you being like on the hunt for things and you like hunting down Pokemon cards from your childhood. What's the next hunt for you?
So currently, I mean, this isn't a huge hunt. I know they're going to be everywhere. They're releasing the new One Piece Funko Pops before the time skip, and I at least want 3 of them. I'm hoping to get the Zoro chase, but I mean, in my area, I'm not too sure how well that's gonna work out. But there's things like that I'm after. There was a statue I am after, but I'm kind of blanking on which one it is. I believe it's a Naruto one, but it has not come to the US yet. So I kind of wait to find them in stores rather than do pre-orders. I have no problem with pre-orders, but I just kind of like going out, getting out, looking for the object, seeing if I could find it on a deal, things like that.
Yeah, always trying to find a deal, you know, Facebook Marketplace and other places like that. It definitely help, especially for the nostalgic things, you know, people.
Yeah, a lot of Facebook Marketplace and Mercari, things like that. If I can't find it around here, but I usually try to go to stores and find them as best I can.
What would your collector, you know, base be like where you are located? Is it crazy? Like everybody's a collector? Is it more casual? Like, oh, it's on the shelf like any day. I'm curious.
So if you mean like the area I'm living in now, it's very rural. I live in the country now. So I'm a half hour to almost an hour away from any store. So in this area, it's safe to say I'm probably one of the only collectors. Now, if I was back in Scranton, that'd be a whole other story. There's a very good comic book place I love to go to every time they release new comics. It's called Comics on the Green. I love it. There's figures there, new comics, just anything you could find. And they just also opened a new collectibles store I saw in our old mall. So I still need to go to that and see what's there that I could find.
Cool. You're a pre-order or a find in the wild person?
I would much rather find things in the wild. I just think it's more fun. I'm not sure about you guys. I know I watched a segment, I think it was the podcast with both of you guys talking to each other about why you guys are collectors. And I loved Blaine's collection too, with all the Pokemon stuff and the knockoff Pokemon games. I like the bootleg ones. I'm not sure how hard those are to find, but I've also learned something from that segment that you guys had too, because Blaine, I forget what it was, but you were talking about how the games had certain technology in them where they save a certain amount, and after a certain amount of years, they could die or something like that, erase the game.
Yeah, so what happens is they couldn't figure out how to actually save anything on the game cartridges. This is true on NES, SNES, and even N64. So they just solder batteries to the board to keep part of the memory awake at all times. So even when the games are off, they're still on. And
I was gonna say, because I was watching you talk about that, and I had a silver. You remember Pokemon Silver? I had that game in 5th grade. I found Lugia. I found all the trio birds. I turned it on the one day. It only said new game. It didn't say continue, and I only had the game a month. I lost everything, and I just cried in the kitchen when I was in 5th grade, and my mother thought I fell down the stairs. It was traumatic. I can't, to this day, I will not delete any Pokemon games. I cannot relive that.
Yeah, it's a common thing that, like, the other problem too is because the batteries are so big, a lot of times they didn't make good contact with the boards. Every now and then the battery would just like separate a little bit, and even though the battery's still alive, your game goes away, which is super traumatic.
It was, as a 5th grader, it was terribly traumatic after all the work I put into finding all those legendaries.
Ironically, that's one of the only good things about the bootleg games is that none of them require batteries, so you can have a red, air quotes, with not ever having to replace a battery because now they have modern technology.
Jeez.
The funny thing about the bootleg games is they're hard to find when you're looking for them. If you're looking for a very specific one, they can be hard to track down. But then you go on Mercari looking for red, and all of a sudden you have 100 different options.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of one of the weird little paradoxes of collecting those. But I think they're kind of just funny, and I like to, I don't know, I have them as kind of a novelty, and then I also like to show people, like, here's what to look out for so you don't accidentally buy a fake one if you want to buy a real one.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, I know you probably like to go out and find those things too, so you might be a little on the same thing as me. Like, I'm not sure if you find most of it online, because you said you're in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I am.
So yeah, it might be a little more easy time probably than I do finding those kinds of things.
Yeah, I found a lot of them online, and I find a lot of them at conventions, and a lot of time they sell them as like bootleg games. I mean,
yeah,
clearly, like, this is obviously not an authentic game, but I did buy it at a convention I was at. So
that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of times though, if you spot a fake game and they don't think it's fake, like the vendor, they can be a little unreceptive to your information.
Yeah.
Yeah, but luckily I've been able to find a decent amount of them, just kind of, for the funniness of them. And then you can do a lot of like ROM hacks too, which is kind of fun. So, like, I have one game where the Pokemon go to level 200 just to make it extra hard. So yeah.
Yeah.
And fortunately, you don't have to ROM hack over real games. You can just use bootlegs that are out there, which is kind of nice.
Taking your Instagram photos, you have like a little setup going, you got the like little clear and everything. How long does that usually like take you to get ready like to set it up? Do you just instantly take it, you don't edit anything, or how does that work for you?
So when I'm doing my collectibles, I photograph them. I like to use natural light. So there is a porch outside that is all painted white with a lot of window light, and I go out at a certain time of day, and anytime I even buy something new, I'm like, I have to photograph it, because I also like to document what I have in case I do need to put anything into storage, or if like in the future I want to sell something, I already have it photographed. I do a lot of detail pictures. I put mostly the straight shot ones on Instagram with the collectibles, but if I get very into detail, like I have a Tsunade resin statue to the side here. I put a lot of detail ones of that on. So it's a lot of, I use the cameras I use for the wedding, so I make sure that they're nice, clear, sharp like that. And also when I'm trying to do I am not a good cosplayer for the life of me. There's people that can make amazing outfits. I'm just like trying my hardest. So even when I do pictures, if there's pictures of myself, like it's a lot of work, a lot of going in, but not too much editing unless I need to put like, a superpower in there. Like I just did a Fantastic Four one. It's just a little thing I could just throw in there. I'm not into huge edits or anything like that.
Got it. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's cool. You started talking about cosplaying. How did you get into that? When did you start doing that?
Oh God, I mean, that is a great question, honestly, because I don't remember when it happened. I know when I was younger, I would just randomly try to make outfits out of anything, even if it wasn't Halloween. My mother would think I was crazy. Like I would be young. I have 2 younger sisters, so I try to like do things with them and things like that. But when I started, I think my first convention actually was New York Comic Con, like 2 years before the pandemic. I know it's crazy. It was huge.
Convention.
Yeah, it was big. I was not expecting it to be the way it was, but it was a lot of fun. I didn't dress up for that, but I saw like the amount of people, how like supportive everybody was of each other. Like everybody was so kind and people were just so talented in making their cosplays and things like that. So I became a little more like I kind of want to do this even if it's not completely like over the top or anything like that. Like a lot of the cosplays I have I just kind of buy, like, I don't make them per se. If I do kind of need to throw something together, I'm just very good at throwing something together. I can't, like, hand stitch or use the foam or anything like these other people. I wish I could. I give props to anyone who can do all that.
No, yeah, I think so too. Like the cosplays you see at these conventions, especially like New York Comic Con, those really big ones. I went to Anime NYC 2 months ago now, and it's just some of the stuff you saw, and it's just like these people literally get in cosplay, they make this amazing, incredible thing,
Yes.
and they just sit in one spot the whole entire time. Just
Yeah, it's
get their work
crazy.
out there. It's nuts. I saw it was like somebody and they were just like in this like big old thing and there was like a big helmet and then they had like two like huge like fists and they're just like planted just there like hours on end. It's just to look at that detail, expression of detail that they put into these things that they do.
Yeah.
And it's like you can like you said, you started when you were a kid technically, and that's really cool, like what
Yeah.
can me and my sisters do, in our free time besides collecting, but making these things and having a good time with what's in our closet. That's
Yeah. It is fun.
yeah. Oh, with so many fandoms, what do you do in your free time then?
So, like I said, I live away from home now. I'm about an hour away. So it's a lot harder to go back and forth, but I go back home a lot for work. But I do like trying to get with my grandfather, thinking of new projects to do. He thinks I'm crazy because he went from working on trucks to one minute I want to weld a Wile E. Coyote and bend rebar out of it and make Star Trek ships and make the helmet I have back there. If you want me to show you, I can get up and get it. And there's the ship over there. I also I'm not sure what you guys call it in where you guys are from, but I like to quad ride. They call it four-wheeling as
Oh, really?
well.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of that in this area, so that's usually what I try to do. I also like to draw, do like my own kind of photography as well. A lot of artistic and outdoor kind of things is probably what I would say are my hobbies.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Like but do you watch like all the anime and like all these fandoms and all these things that you do collect?
So the only anime I actually have are the ones that I in my collection that I have are One Piece and Naruto. I do like other animes, but those two are the ones that really got to me. So I don't
Yeah.
want to go overboard and kind of buy just things I kind of like for things I know that I prefer better because I need to save money. So I don't want to buy. I'm not a completionist by any means. I will not buy every single One Piece Funko. That would probably kill me. So I have been trying to watch other anime. I mean, I loved Bleach, but I don't have one Bleach Funko Pop. I've started to watch Black Clover. I'm just getting into that. I've started Jujutsu Kaisen. I've started Demon Slayer. I can't watch the newest season though because I need to pay for Crunchyroll. But I love those. I do think they're cool, but character-wise, like, yeah, for the collection, I'd rather just stick with the ones I know that are in my heart kind of thing.
Their problems, like I get that. That's one of those things I think we all deal with as collectors. It's like, what do we want to pick up? What characters do we love and relate to? What characters do we not relate to?
Yeah.
Anime that we watched all of our lives, or we just started watching, what do we want to put on our shelves and display and everything? And we can't get too antsy or too like hyped about it, because then it's like, oh hey, there goes our money that we just need to spend.
Exactly.
That's like me, like I as this is like Naruto is my childhood anime, Demon Slayer is my adulthood anime, and that's why I have this tattoo basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like one of those things where it's like I love both of those for different reasons, obviously, and I have them both on my shelves. But then I go into like an anime that has like 12 episodes or something, and I love that almost just as much as those two things. But then it's like they don't really have too much for those things, so when you find it, it's like sweet,
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's like, don't get too hyped up because this is only one season. You don't know when the next season's coming, and all this different stuff could happen, and then you don't even end up liking the anime. So it's one of those things, like shows and movies and stuff too. It's like, I love that movie, and then it's like, oh, I bought something from that movie, and then I bought another thing from that movie, and it's like, crap, I have like 3 or 4 things from this movie now. Where am I going to display this?
Yeah, it's kind of that way with Marvel too. Like I said, I have Spider-Man and Scarlet Witch and a little bit of Storm, but I can't. Can you imagine getting all the Endgame characters?
It's like collecting comic books and like Marvel superheroes like Spider-Man. Like I have a Spider-Man shelf too, and it's like, hey, Into the Spider-Verse came out, and Across the Spider-Verse came out. And it's like I grabbed this Spider-Man and this Spider-Man, and this. I was like, hey, I don't need to buy all these Spider-Man anymore. Like, I like the ones that I like, and I can't get too hyped about this stuff. And especially with like different manufacturers and toy companies and stuff, dang well they're going to release the same character in a little bit different style or whatever. We're not putting any names out there, or a variant or something. And it's like, all right, I'm just going to wait for that next better detailed figure to come out before I buy this. And we're gonna keep this steady, and that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah, and as you guys also as collectors, I'm not sure like if you guys are also into statues and other figures and things like that. But me myself, like you mentioned, how people will buy. Some people want to buy like everything they see, kind of thing. That's how my one sister is. But I am very particular how the face is made, the poses, like. I want them to look exactly how they looked in the show. So if I see that like something's wonky with the eyes or the pose or the colorings, where I won't even touch it.
Oh, I get that, because there's one figure that I want of Asuna from Sword Art Online, and it's a great figure. But then I saw the face and like on the photos, and I'm like, okay, this is all right. And then you see it in person, and you're like, no, this isn't it. I'm not getting this one. So in particular, I understand that as a collector 100%.
Yes.
You got something to say on that?
No, one of the other things that I collect that I don't really have a lot of here is this game called Hero Clicks, which is basically like little figures that excuse me, getting fired up about it. Little figures that can like fight each other on different landscapes, and you can have Marvel versus DC, but they also did like wrestling and Star Trek and all that stuff. But they were notorious for having some of the worst paint jobs. So it would literally be the correct faces just like shifted 10 degrees or so. And yeah, you just kind of had to get used to the fact that none of them looked at all like, what they are. And I collect a lot of plush. Every now and then you have to kind of accept that there's interpretations of what they look like. The Dragonite Squishmallow's face is a little derpier than I was hoping, but it still kind of fits because I collect everything Dragonite, so it kind of is what it is. You kind of just got to roll with it. But yeah, with statues especially where they're going for the more high detail thing, like that would drive me nuts if it was a little off, so totally get it.
The price points for some of these things.
Yes.
Yeah. You spend a lot of time and effort and research and money, trying to figure out, hey, do I want this figure? Do I not? It comes in and it's a completely different, like thing than what you initially saw. Like some other companies do that, have notoriously done that too, where it's just like, hey, like this isn't what I ordered. As a collector, it's like, dang it, it's like, how can I solve this now? What would you say is your most nostalgic piece in your collection?
Goodness, I figured you might ask this question too. So the most nostalgic piece, probably if you'll let me get up and get it, if you don't mind. I'm in sweatpants, mind you, so hopefully you can cut that part
You're
out.
fine.
Let me see. Oh, so besides some of my Pokemon cards, probably the most nostalgic thing I have is this very derpy looking Bulbasaur plush. So
You have
I'm
dirty
not sure how
plushes.
familiar you guys are with the area, the NEPA area, but we have the St. Patrick's Day parade, and it's one of the biggest in the entire country. So my father took me to that when I was younger, and this little derpy guy was at one of the vendors, and I asked him so much to get it, and this was one of the first like little toy plushes I can remember my father getting me as a child, and I still to this day have it, and that might also be why I am kind of emotionally attached to Bulbasaurus because of my father.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that's a core memory. Like you said, these nostalgic pieces and everything, they bring back these memories that it's almost like we forgot we had, and then we look at it and we're like, whoa, like this isn't just something on our shelves. This is a whole memory, to deal with it. To get into like a weird topic is like there's some of these things like these like songs that are out there like recently talking about how like there's it's talking about like selling a house, and it's one of those things where it's like this was in my house at some point. Our collections are in this house too, and we have a bunch of memories just like our collectibles and everything. Yeah, and just going off of that is just it's more than just a piece of plastic or ceramic or resin or whatever sometimes. So no, that's really
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot, I'm not sure for you guys, but a lot for me, at least nostalgic wise, has to probably do with Pokemon because that's kind of where it started. It was, your parents and like they give you gifts, things like that, and you go out doing things with them. So that's kind of where it started with me. And a lot of my collection too, which I'm sure you guys have as well, is people, your friends, your family, they probably give you little gifts saying, oh, I saw this and I thought of you, or it's your birthday, I found you this figure, things like that. So those mean a lot to me as well.
that's like the most expensive piece in my collection is like $1,500. And my wife bought it for me when she was my girlfriend. My wife bought it for me for $40. I talk about it quite often. Uh, it's one of those things where it's like that's a lot of money, and it's like if it's needed, absolutely. But like I don't want to get rid of that no matter what type thing.
Yeah.
One of those things where yeah, it's on my shelf, it's collecting dust. I haven't touched it. I haven't taken out a box in many years, but my wife got it for me, for
Yeah.
a good price, and she didn't have to do that. This is when she was first working and all this stuff, and didn't have bills and everything, and she chose to spend that money on me, as I'm sure your husband sometimes chooses to spend his money on you,
Yes.
and vice versa. That
And actually, going off your Bulbasaur, one of my prize items I have is I was visiting family in Boston and I stopped at a comic book shop with my dad, and he bought me a pack of Gym Heroes, and I got a Blaine's Charizard out of it.
Oh my god.
Still have it. Yeah, it's
That's
in
awesome.
yeah, it's on my shelf of random Pokemon things. But yeah, that was kind of. I mean, as if I didn't like Charizard already. I mean, that kind of helped cement it, So
yeah. When I moved out, of my parents' house, they had like a bunch of stuff, and then like I don't know what happened to it. Like I had so many Pokemon movies and Digimon movies and books and all this stuff. I don't know what happened to it, unfortunately. And that's one of the things is like as a collector, like of like actual thing, because it's like I've been a collector for my life, but at the same time, like not necessarily. Like Pops really started it about 12 years ago. It's like I wish I still had this thing, or like it's like where did this thing go? I don't know. And unfortunately,
Yeah, like recently, I think the most recent thing I had to go looking for was, do you guys remember it was Pokemon, I think it was called Battle Stadium. So it was the toy where you like you would hit the button and hope to God it landed in the middle for the critical attack. And back then that was like the peak of technology. It was just getting the red dot to line up the right way.
Trying to find those figures and everything too, where it's like they're all over the place as well. Like those weren't easy to find, and when you did find them, it's
No.
like sweet, but then you ended up losing them because you were a kid and didn't
Yeah. And
think about this stuff.
I forgot there was actually an Ash Ketchum that was an add-on to it where he had like a Pokeball and you could clip them in to Ash, and I think he would talk about them, or they would talk, I forget which it is. I have all of that back now thanks to my one cousin that lives in Florida, because he is also a big collector. He's a Star Wars collector, but he helped me track that down, all the figures, the cards that went with it, everything, and I thankfully have that back in my collection because my parents got rid of the one I had because they said, "Oh, you're grown now. What do you need this for?" And then here I am tracking down
like, I'm grown now. I need it back.
Yeah, here I am tracking down VHS tapes and Nintendo 64 cartridges and all this stuff. So it's good to have friends and family that are supportive and help you with this kind of stuff as well, because doing it alone is a lot, just in general. A lot of work finding, especially vintage things. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a place. Well, it was on a marketplace, and they were selling like I think like 10 or 12 volumes of Shonen Jump, and it was like $80. And I'm like, that's really good, but I don't have $80 to spend on this right now.
Yeah.
But it's like that's the type of stuff from your childhood and everything. You're like you said, VHSs and some DVDs and like little toys that you didn't think of as a kid. And now I think collectors, and as we age and more people are collecting and understanding the markets and everything, a lot of people are holding on to this stuff, buying duplicates, for the future, whether it be to resell it or actually collect it and have it for, the next people down. But it's really cool thing and how it's evolved over time, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, if it wasn't for my family and a lot of my friends, like even if it's stuff that I wouldn't particularly go out and get myself, it's nice that they want to, that they think of you, and like it means more to me when people, do that kind of stuff to like just to know how much they care about you, things like that. Like my one sister, for example, is a huge Barbie collector. She's my youngest sister. And if I see any type of Barbie, she loves the 60s Barbies. I try to find them for her. I send her pictures, all that kind of stuff. So some collecting must run in our family.
Cool. That's cool, though. I love to hear that, collecting runs in the family. It's like my son, he's collecting Hot Wheels technically now, and so am I technically, I guess you could say. I mentioned it before, but it's, I love to bring that and pass that down. And anybody that comes over to my house, and I'm sure you guys are both the same, like sometimes it's like, hey, want to see my collection? Like I'm just so excited to like show it off, and people are so amazed and like all this stuff. I have workers sometimes come in here because we're renting, and they look at this stuff and they're just like, whoa. I'm just like, yeah, this is my collection. But it's still like it's a pride and joy.
Yeah.
And having a collection, having a display, and that goes back to like the in the out of the box collecting. I used to collect the pops in box. Everything was in box. I never took anything out, and I had up to like probably like 200 to 500 of them, whatever it was, and they were all in box, just stacked up like Blaine's are kind of. You can see in the back, as you've seen in his videos, I'm sure. But yeah, like I had it like that, and I always, I say, oh, when I move out, I really want to display stuff and blah blah blah. So we moved out, and it was like, okay, well, I have room to display now, and that's when it all changed. In my inbox and out of box collection, where it's like now I have like 60% of the figures out of box, and 40% of them are either in box or I don't have a box anymore.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned having workers over. I had my carpets done a few months ago, and the rest of my house looks pretty normal. Like there's not a lot of signs that there is geek stuff going on in here. And then they kind of walked into this room, and I had like all my LEDs on and everything, and it looked like when the kids walk into the Willy Wonka's candy room through the hallway, and they're just like, what just happened? Like, where did I go? And they're kind of ogling the Pokemon games and stuff like that. So And for the record, the wall of Funko kind of just became a necessity because it was easier than wallpapering it when I realized I could cover the entire wall in Funko. So I'm like, yeah, what the heck? Just stack them up. And they are surprisingly sturdy. I have not had any falls yet, knock on woods.
I see.
Granted, I don't
Like
get a lot of earthquakes up here, but
the whole technique to it, I heard too, like when stacking pop figures, it's like you like just kind of inch the one over, and then you go up, and then you inch the next one over, and then you go up, and then you like, and then there's like, it still like works out or something like that. Apparently, like
you know, I found that out kind of by trial and error. They gradually, you kind of have to work them closer to the wall as they go higher because they like to lean forward a little bit. But yeah, which I kind of found my only lifetime only like half spill, and I kind of figured out I can just inch them forward a little bit, scoot them back, and then oh, I guess I did something right. They're holding up still.
I gotta show you a video of somebody's Funko Pop wall falling after this for sure. I gotta find it, but it was crazy. It was nuts. All right, so I think it's time for the lightning round, as Blaine likes to do it at the end of our podcast. So we have just a couple questions for you. Just answer them, as quick as you can.
Oh boy, okay.
Too crazy.
We just have, I think we have 12 questions. They're not complicated ones, so they're usually just, rapid fire. We'll fire a couple off. Just give your first thought.
All right, hopefully I don't have any brain farts then.
No, they're hot takes. They're definitely opinionated answers, so don't worry. All right, let me know when you're ready.
Hey, I think I'm ready. Let me make sure this chair's rubbing up against a different chair. That if you're hearing squeaking, that's what this is.
I haven't heard anything too good.
All right, first question. What is your favorite Spider-Man version from like the Spider-Verse?
Oh God, from the Spider-Verse, I gotta stick with the main Peter Parker. I don't know how I feel about them making him like, oh, he's sad, he lost Mary Jane, whatever. But I do like the comeback. I hope that's no spoilers for anybody, but I like his comeback in the second movie.
There you go. All right, favorite Spider-Man actor, live action.
Oh God, now that's a hard one too. So right now it was Andrew Garfield. No, I'm gonna get flamed in like any sort of comments here, but I love, oh my God, Tom Holland. I'm sorry, I love him. I know I'm gonna get like judged for Tobey Maguire. He's the original. I love him, but he's just everything. He's like the perfect age. He's the perfect like height, like everything. I just think he's very good at portraying Spider-Man.
Well, there's a reason they're called hot takes. They're supposed to generate some discussions.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I love all three. I have all three statues of them actually up there behind me.
There you go.
But if I had to pick one, I do like the newest Tom Holland. I gotta say, he's doing a great job.
All right, for Spider-Man significant others, are you Team Mary Jane or Team Gwen Stacy?
Oh, I'm Team Gwen Stacy. I mean, I'm sorry. Mary Jane's fine. I'm gonna probably say sorry after all these. But I like Gwen. I love her. She's just a little more relatable for me.
All right. Is Scarlet Witch a Disney princess?
She should be. If she's not, she should be. I would love that. There would be a lot more merchandise of her if she was.
All right. Did MCU Scarlet Witch go too far? Did she do nothing wrong?
Oh, jeez. I'm kind of on the fence about that. I think she did nothing wrong. I mean, she might have went a little bit too far in the beginning, but I mean, she's a mother. Like, she, after all that happened, what would you do to get your children back? You know what I mean? And the Darkhold, in her defense, the Darkhold did have a hold on her. So it's kind of that fault, too. It's not just her fault.
Best Marvel villain.
So my favorite Marvel villain, I like Doc Ock. I just think he's a very unique, interesting character. I mean, all the Spider-Man villains are. So I think somewhere in that area, but I'm going to stick with Doc Ock.
Works. Favorite Straw Hat?
Mine, I have three, but I'd have to say Zorro, Robin, or Luffy. Those are my three favorites.
All right, here's going to be a hard one for you. What's the better ship, the Going Merry or the Thousand Sunny?
Oh, goodness gracious, you really wanted to get me with these questions. So Going Merry will always have my heart. But, the Thousand Sunny, that's the one that's going to make it to get One Piece. That's going to make it through the Grand Line. That's the ship of dreams. So it'll make it. I believe in it.
All right. You already said Gen 1 is your favorite, but after Gen 1, what's your favorite Pokemon generation?
So again, I have to stick with the first two generations. I loved Umbreon, I loved Lugia, I loved all those Pokemon. Totodile, oh my god, he was adorable. So I gotta stick with Gen 2. I love the designs.
Are you Team Pokemon Red or Team Pokemon Blue?
So I was red. My one sister would always get blue. So if we got one version, the other sister would get the other. So I'm red.
Got your bases covered. There you go. Are you a watching anime dubbed or sub person?
Depends. I feel like some are better dubbed and some are much better subbed. When I first started watching One Piece, I was young. I was probably 12, and it was on Cartoon Network, so it was dubbed. But right now, my god, I've been watching it subbed for almost like 15 to 17 years. So I gotta say subbed, just because of One Piece, I need to say subbed.
Fair enough. And last question, who wins in a fight? Luffy or Ash with any 6 Pokemon of your choice?
I gotta go Luffy. I gotta go Luffy all the way. I mean, you could make an argument with some of the Pokemon's abilities, but Luffy, he's rubber. A lot of that could probably, deflect anything, especially the electricity types, things like that. What is a grass type gonna do against Luffy? I mean, I guess the only argument you could have is maybe water type, but I don't even know if that's gonna hurt him unless he's in the ocean or it's salt water. So
Well, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe just, try to drown him. Here's
these
all
are the
water.
crazy things we think about.
Yeah, right. Well, there you go. All right, those are my questions. Those are your hot takes. So if anybody wants to leave comments to that, leave it down below, obviously. And then, Ryan, do you have any other questions we want to hit on?
I think that's it, man.
Okay. All right, so we can start wrapping things up, and, we'll do our little outro, so... All right, well, those are all of our questions and answers today. Liza, thank you so much for being with us and talking about all of your collectibles and everything that you love collecting. Obviously, we just like talking with other collectors, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much again, you guys, for having me. I love your podcast. I've been watching it the last few weeks. You guys are amazing to listen to. I got to give you that.
All right, thank you so much. And again, guys, if you're watching over on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere else where you were able to find our podcast, make sure that you go ahead and like it, and of course follow us on all those platforms to make sure that you never miss any of our episodes. But that's all we have for you today, so it's going to be Blaine, Ryan, and Liza signing off, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. See you around. Bye-bye.
Stop.